So, namaskar to everyone and wishing you all a very pleasant evening. And it's definitely a delight and an honor to be welcoming all our esteemed guests and distinguished dignitaries, the special invitees, the Webisons who have joined us on behalf of the Indian Achievers Forum to the Women Achievers and Leadership Summit 2020, which, if you see, incidentally, it falls on a very special day as today we are celebrating and we are observing the International Literacy Day. And I think these celebrations, especially for us Indians, have become more pronounced in the wake of the national new education policy, which we have, which was recently announced. A very bold and a transformative and a reformative policy, which has been almost after 3 decades plus. But I think it has all the ingredients, all the key drivers to make a 21st century India and also to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. And also to make our education system more inclusive, especially when we talk about the women. The policy approaches gender as a cross-cutting priority to achieve gender equality in education with the partnerships of the states and various local community organizations. And we are all aware that from millennia, India has been the land of iconic women who played a very important role in governance, in policy making, in defense, in religion, etc. And they have brought about many drastic reforms in society. But then 800 years of colonization by the foreign invaders that deteriorated our core morals, cultural, educational values of our country. Even the sultans and the Mughal rulers were incredibly against the women education. And Britishers, of course, they had no interest. After independence, also, our endeavors which we have seen towards women literacy have been very slow. But now we have the new education policy, which has a special focus on women education and empowerment. And broadly, if you see, can I just request there is a little disturbance coming? If you can just switch off that disturbance, please. Yeah. So, as I was talking about this NEP, especially with respect to the women, the policy emphasizes the number of women on leading positions of the institution, including principals, teachers, wardens, physical instructors, and other staff. It emphasizes to decrease the gender imbalance among teachers, especially in the rural areas. Alternate pathways for female teacher recruitment will be introduced without compromising on the merit and the qualification, both educational and professional. And then the policy also identifies social mores and gender stereotypes that prevent girls from accessing education and causing regular dropouts. The teachers, Anganwadi workers, and also the local social entrepreneurs are going to be trained to deliver proper counseling. The curriculum is going to be more gender neutral, technology oriented, more adjunct to sustainable employment. And at the same time, NUP is also ensuring safety and security of the school going girls, both inside and outside of the campus. The schools have to ensure a harassment, discrimination, and a demeanor free campus before enlisting for yearly accreditation. And I think all this will definitely increase the number of girl child attending schools. So it's a very progressive policy, a game changing policy, a women friendly policy, and a women encouraging policy. So, in the wake of this women progressive policy, especially on the Women Literacy Day, as we are celebrating, the IEF Integrated Achievers Forum which has been actually promoting a lot of achievements which inspire businesses and inspire communities, decided to have this special dedicated summit, the Women Achievers Summit, which is powered by, it is presented by Northern Coalfields Limited with associate partners NCW, NCPCR, ICSI, Sri Sri University, and the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We thank them all for the support which they have extended. And we invite the views of some remarkable women leaders who have joined us, and also the men leaders who are encouraging and creating a more enabling environment for women. I'm going to be in conversation with them to know their views on this special day and of course on the NEP, how it is going to be further driving in women empowerment through education and equality. So let me welcome my guest of the day. Extreme thanks to Ms. Rekha Sharma, the chairperson of National Commission for Women. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Ms.
receiving me.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Rajita Kulkarni, the Vice Chancellor, Sri Sri University, is present with us. Welcome to you. Mr. Ashish Garg, President ICSI, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Mr. Bimlendu Kumar, Director Personnel, Northern Coalfields. Mr. Priyank Kanungo, the Chairperson of National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. And Mr. D.K. Agarwal, the President, PHG Chamber of Commerce and Industry. These are our esteemed speakers with Amit Goenka and Mr. Harish Chandra from IEF present with us. So
Vimi, just a second. Vimi, just a second. Sri Arun Goyal ji has agreed and joined us also. Arun ji is ex-cabinet secretary coordination with the PMO.
Okay,
and he is currently, sir has joined us just now.
Okay, so welcome to Arun Goyal ji. Thank you so very much, sir. Pleasure to have you on this forum. And as I can see now, we have almost, the number of women to the number of men are all equal. So it's an equal platform here. So I would like to first ask Ms. Rekha Sharma, invite her, the chairperson of National Commission for Women, as I extend good wishes of this day. Ma'am, especially as we talk about pandemic, I think this has, if I put it into an acronym, it has given rise to what I call VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. What is predictable and what is not, it has actually blurred the lines between all that. And for women, especially, we have been always known for being a multitasker. But these days, working from home and the other things, of course, happening, the daily chores, it's been a roller coaster ride. It has taken complete toll also on us, but we still stand strong and we are there. And if I talk about rural India, the ASHA workers, the Anganwadi workers, they have always been our foot soldiers. They have done a very remarkable job, very remarkable work during this time. But then in urban India, we also see a lot of job cuts happening, pay cuts, and women have been affected by that also. So in all this changing scenario, which you see, what is in your views on the main takeaways for the women leaders from this pandemic period?
In this pandemic, as you already mentioned, that there was tough times. There were tough times. We all have seen women struggling from home to office to everywhere. Especially in early days when the complete lockdown was there, we have seen women struggling with household work, with taking care of children, even facing domestic violence. Everything was there. But we also have seen that many women leaders have emerged during this time when they have come out and not only help themselves, they help others also to come out of that slumber. They helped women, they helped children, they distributed food, they hand-holded many people, even gave online consultation for the women who were mentally stressed. There were organizations like NCW, NCPCR, and others who were working 24 by 7 during the lockdown. Even these days, when not many offices are there who are where the 100% strength is there, but in NCW, after 15 days of lockdown, we were there in the office. We were working from home in those 15 days, 24 by 7. We were working after that from office, and my office had strength. After 20 days of lockdown, we were all there in the office. So not only organizations, I can count so many people who came forward, right? In states, there were so many people who were working, state commissions were working 24 by 7. So this period also shown a positive trend where women emerged as leaders. Women who were not doing anything at home, as it is, they were not earning, but they have come up with different things, different ideas where they have their own channels. They are cooking. They have started, showing it on their own personal channel. So when I see even on the social media like Facebook and all, I've seen that women are doing wonderful jobs. Why should we only concentrate on negativity of this lockdown? Though sometimes even a person like me also feel that low point come in my life also. That from 8 months we are not been going to in the field. We are used to working in field, and today only I was talking to NCPCR chairperson Mr. Kanungo that how we are taking care of things without, but then we changed from ground working to online working, and that is also a wonderful thing that so many people learned that online working. Everybody has worked. See, we are meeting each other online without any problem. We are talking to each other, seeing each other. So yes, tough times are there, but things are moving forward, and with the directions and with the support of our honorable Prime Minister, the way he, took country forward in these tough times. Also, I think we all are learning from him. We all are looking up to his directions and how he is guiding us. So he is the guiding force behind all of us, and that's why we are not stopping, and we are working.
Yeah. And ma'am, you rightly said that, in this pandemic period, we've been so fast-tracked into the digital platform. And we are using, especially on this Literacy Day, we would like to compliment and thank all our teachers, even 50 plus teachers. They've started using the
Yes.
AR, VR, they're using, and they ensure
Yeah.
no child should be left behind. So salutes to them, and especially the women teachers we have. They have been working very hard, preparing all those PPTs and exams also now.
I have
Now,
I have my many friends who are in teaching field, and I've seen that they are working at night till 12 preparing their PPTs, and in the morning from 8 o'clock they are taking classes till 3 o'clock. They are in the school, and then they are doing their household work also because no maids are coming. So they are cooking early morning and evening, and with all this work, they are teaching children non-stop. So that a big shout for all those teachers out there who are selflessly working even when they are not even getting full salary. Especially in private schools, they are getting 40%, 30%. These kinds of salaries they are getting, but they are giving 100% time, more than 100%, I think.
true. Ma'am, you mentioned about domestic disharmony and violence, and probably the number of cases which we saw during this time, to some extent, they increased. So, how is NCW helping such women? How are you reaching out to such women?
See, before lockdown, also the number of complaints about domestic violence were always number one category. But during the lockdown, even in the first week itself, we found that the number of complaints were rising, and during second week or third week, we started a WhatsApp number because we saw that women are unable to reach to police, they couldn't go to police stations for help. They were unable to call from their phones to their families because in a small place where even the husbands or other people who were torturing or doing domestic violence, they were there and they couldn't talk in front of them. So this WhatsApp number came very handy to us because uh, as soon as we launched that WhatsApp number, the number of complaints were many folds. And let me tell you, this is not the case that number of cases or number of violence increased, but I think people got a platform there where they could reach us. So most of the women were saying that we are facing this domestic violence from number of years, but because of lockdown, they could not take it anymore. And because they could not share it with their family and friends, they wanted to share with the NCW, and many a times they said, no, we don't want to do an FIR, we want a counseling, we want somebody to counsel our husband so that we can live peacefully with the family itself. So we counseled, we sent counselors. In many cases, they wanted to shift to their parents' house, so we helped them in shifting also. uh, NCW was working, and because of this WhatsApp number, my whole team, I made a proper team which was working for only on domestic violence cases, and we were contacting them even at night. If some message used to come, we were contacting them, helping them out, helping them in shifting, or if they wanted police to come there, we used to send police to help them out. And that's how we were working, and still that number is now permanently working. Earlier we thought that it will only be for lockdown period, but because we saw a very good response, we are not now changing that number, and it is still there. Let me tell you what the number of cases. If we were getting in a week 200 cases nowadays, because of our response, or because people have got awareness about NCW, now we are getting from 400 to 500 cases in a week. I'm not talking only domestic violence, all over cases. The number of cases in a week, we are getting 4 to 500 cases. So our work has increased, but so I'm happy that we are able to help women. That's why they are coming to me.
Yeah, for good that during this time, as you said, at least women have come out of it and they are speaking. So
Yes.
and reaching out for help, and that is where NCW, as you said, you have a special helpline, and you'll be continuing even after the pandemic. You'll be continuing with this, and it's going to be of
What is the number, ma'am? What is the number?
Number I will share you just now, because I don't remember. I'll just tell you.
Ma'am, we will showcase this number on the IF platform also, and also on the CSR Times platform.
It is 721-7735372. 721-7735372. This is the WhatsApp number. You must be thinking that why such a difficult number. So let me tell you, this was a number which we had a number at home only. My husband's extra number, and suddenly one night I thought that how can I reach to women, and I started tweeting that this is the number where they can reach, and later on we shifted it to a official NCW's number. Otherwise, this was my personal number, and that's how this number is not some special number where people can know, or they can
Because
it's not easy number.
because we on the different channels we have been seeing
Yeah.
on the different channels we have been seeing NCW highlighting such things, but this number was never in my mind. So now we know from the horse's mouth what the number is, and the real number will be displayed across all social media and IF platforms, so that more and more women can take advantage of this.
Thank you so much, Amitji. Thank you.
yeah, really.
Madam,
thoughtful.
congratulations, you've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amitji.
And ma'am, because you have to leave, you have a pressing
Yeah.
engagement. Last was if you can
Thank
talk
you.
about a little bit about the NEP also, and how do you feel NEP is going to be driving women empowerment through education, and especially also entrepreneurship? Your views on that?
Since the time I have joined, these were my agenda to gender sensitize children's from very beginning, from school level itself. And we at NCW were also doing gender sensitization in school, and we have done in Kendra Vidyalayas, and that's what in this new education policy they have taken up. And gender is a big part of this education policy, and I really welcome it, especially when they are saying that the girls will be secure and safe inside and outside the schools. They are assuring the safety and security of girl child and empowering entrepreneurship. As far as I know, I am always talking about entrepreneurship, that women should not seek jobs, they should be job creators. And last year we have done in many universities a program where we taught girls how to be entrepreneurs. So we used to take invite entrepreneur women entrepreneurs. We were inviting bank officials, we were inviting government officials who can guide these girls to become entrepreneurs. So I'm happy that now it is in the policy itself. And government, since the time Modi ji has come in power, I think he is always talking about entrepreneurship. He's always talking about skill development. He's always talking about, he's always saying, can you please switch off your mics, please?
Yeah, there is a disturbance
There's
from
a lot of disturbance. Lot of
disturbance as well as a voice. Someone's phone is also, I think, on and the mic is on. If others can please keep your mics on the mute mode, please. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, so I was saying since the 2014, the government is stressing on skill development, on creating jobs, on telling people to come forward, take loans, start their own startups. So startup is a big thing for this government, and most of the women, if you see, most of the women have taken advantage of this startup scheme. So I think when we are telling them from school itself, next generation will be better than this generation, and they'll be having easier life. They won't be seeking jobs, and they will be creating jobs.
Yeah. And ma'am, even I know personally so many women, and
Yes.
they were working in the corporate houses, and while during this pandemic time, they converted their hobbies into
Yes.
actually, they became entrepreneurs and
Yeah.
home delivery, food, and all those they were engaging in. So that's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
thought of new ideas. So
Yes.
thank you so very much, ma'am, for
Thank you so much. Thanks.
it was really lovely having you and your thoughts, and wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors. Thank you again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit ji. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Rekha ji.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Rekha ji.
So I would now like to invite our next eminent speaker. We have Ms. Rajita
Avimi
Kulkarni.
Ashish Garg ji has joined us. Avimi Ashish Garg ji has joined us, the president of Institute of Company Secretaries of India.
Okay, so I welcome Mr. Ashish Garg, President ICSI.
Thank you so much.
30,000 company secretary, 20,000 company secretary women under his leadership.
Yeah,
30,000.
So I'll be coming to Ashish ji, but I thought let me first with the first woman, then the second woman again, a very powerful woman, a very woman who's actually again done a lot of work in the field of women education empowerment is present with us. And that's, as I was introducing, Ms. Rajita Kulkarni, the Vice Chancellor of Sri Sri University, the President of the World Forum in Ethics and Businesses, trustee of the Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir Trust, which runs almost more than, I think, 100 educational institutions. And then she's also the member of the FICCI Higher Education National Task Force. So, Rajita ma'am, welcome to you. Good to be talking to you on this platform. And you are a women leader who's himself empowering so many other women, the girl child, through education. And especially as the Vice Chancellor of Sri Sri University, you're imparting an education system which is not only helping the students spread their wings and be in the global world and global citizens and responsible habitants of this planet, but you're also at the same time keeping them rooted in the traditional value system, our Indian value system. So today, being the International Literacy Day, I wanted to invite your views on one of the major challenges which our current education system is seeing, and that I had posed to Rekha ma'am also, that we have students, and but as far as producing leaders and entrepreneurs is concerned, that is where our education system is lacking. Fortunately, we have NEP. So, your thoughts on what do you think that this policy again it is going to be promoting more leaders and entrepreneurs, and how your university intends to take it forward?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for inviting me here and having me present here and giving me this chance to share my views. Very nice to see you again. I would just humbly like to correct one thing. I'm the president of Shish University. We have a Vice Chancellor, Dr. Singh. So I'm not the Vice Chancellor, I'm the president. You know, it's a very good question you have asked. I think, you know, for us being founded by Pujya Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, topics like inclusion, gender sensitization, women's education, entrepreneurship, I think all of this comes a little bit as part of our DNA. I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about what we are doing. You know, I want to tell you the story of three girls, women. First is Priyanka, and all these three girls, I know them personally. I have interacted and mentored them. Priyanka is the first woman metro train driver of Bangalore Metro. She passed out of our, ashram free school. Under Gurudev's guidance, we are running more than 800 free schools in India. About close to 80,000 children are being educated free of cost, including midday meals, etc. And almost 98% of these children are first generation literates. And Priyanka is one such student of ours. And today she is a metro train driver. She's celebrated, she's interviewed, and she's become something like an iconic brand by herself and a big inspiration for other girls. Another girl I want to talk about is Rupa. She's studying in our Faculty of Architecture in Shish University with me. She's an abandoned orphan from the Northeast, and she also studied in our preschool. She has been living in Bangalore in our ashram for the last 10-12 years, and now she has moved to our university. And in 2 years, she will graduate as an architect. And a third girl, Chitra, also who went to one of our free schools. And 2 years ago, she graduated as an Ayurvedic doctor from our Ayurveda college. Now, the reason I'm sharing the stories of Priyanka, Rupa, and Chitra is because there are thousands of Priyankas, Rupas, and Chitras in our country today who don't get this opportunity for education. And therefore, I think the first thing that we need to do to ensure there is that girl child gets adequate opportunity is to see how we can reach education to places where they cannot reach education. So some of our free schools, when we are in places which take sometimes 3 days for us to travel because they are in the remotest parts of India. And I think this is where NGOs and other private sector players have to come ahead and support the government efforts in reaching value-based holistic education to the remotest parts of India. Our school in Dharavi, which is one of the largest slums of Asia, you know, today, in fact, children are struggling to get admission to our school because we don't have capacity to receive as many applications as are in demand today. And our students are becoming chefs and they are becoming, computer professionals. So the reason I'm saying this is that no matter what is the economic or the social background a child comes from, if he or she gets the right platform, the right nurturing, the right nutrition, and the right value-based education, they are capable of doing anything that a normal urban child with, the so-called socio-economic advantages can get. And we in Shri Shri University are, I think, taking that to the next step. We are committed that we will, because, if you look at the data of education, the percentage of girls enrolled in primary and secondary schools significantly drops as it comes to the higher education. So in our university, almost 49% of our students are girl students out of the close to 2,500 students that we have currently, and that is the ratio we are committed to have, because this includes undergrad, postgrad, and also PhD students. So as girls move up the sort of continuum of education, there are so many forces which compel them to drop out, and that is something that we have to sort of come ahead and do. And you raised the question of enterprise. In fact, I want to say there is a sort of a joke going on our campus, because we have a very fantastic team member who is our placement head, and all the kids are always joking with him that one day they will get him out of the job, that he should not have a job left anymore. And that is the spirit of enterprise on our campus. We are doing a number of things to encourage students to start their own startups. In the last 3-4 years, I'm very proud to share we have close to 36 startups that have got incubated on our campus and are successfully running. We are a nodal agency for the government of Odisha, for Startup Odisha, and we allow our students to start their startups while they are on campus. Most of our MBA students start their startups in semester 2, so that for a year and a half, they are on campus, they can be coached and mentored by us. Then we help them create, help them find seed funding, create accelerators for them. We have begun to get a great reputation as being a university for startups. And what I'm really proud is almost 60% of these startups are done by our girl students. So we are also creating opportunities for, many times in the Indian context, what I have seen is that it is considered like the biggest risk to start your own enterprise. So parents are many times encouraging girls, nahi, job kar lo, safe hai, secure hai, monthly income aa jayega, which is true. But unless you take some risk, you cannot even get that reward. So we are even helping create those communication linkages with parents to help them understand opportunities for their children. And one more thing we have done is we've set up a women's leadership forum also in our university. It is called Charchika. And under this, not only are we doing things to bring the best leaders, women.
You have come to the back stage. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I think we need to mute. Amitji, if you can mute your mic, please. Your voice.
If everyone can mute the mics, that will help.
Yeah,
so that helps women in bringing the best. When sometimes you are wanting to do something, but something prevents you from doing, and you hear an incredible story of another woman who has overcome worse challenges than you, and that then empowers you and emboldens you. And this is one aspect of it. But one more thing I have seen is for millennials especially, there is a sense of discontentment they have. No matter how much they have, they feel they don't have enough. And for that, therefore, Seva is a very big part of our way of life in our campus. And all our girl students also, we have about 90 villages surrounding our campus. And we are doing many, many activities in the villages. Child education, telling stories over the weekend, basic hygiene. We have set up tailoring institutes for women in the neighboring villages. And, these girls, they graduate and then they start working for the state handicraft corporation, getting about 3,000-4,000 rupees salary a month. And when our girl students interact with such girls, it explodes their mind, because when you see the kind of conditions these girls live in, and from there to come up and become economically self-reliant, I think it's a fantastically symbiotic relationship. I think our students also learn a lot from these, girls from the villages around, because the grit they have, the perseverance they have. So we are creating an ecosystem which not only enforces, but also I think in some way subtly is creating that environment which encourages girls to sort of, find their dreams and fly with their wings. And there is a lot, I think, more that we can do, and platforms like this, I think, are great opportunities to learn from each other. I was hearing Rekha ji speak about the pandemic, and the NEP. I will come to NEP. That was the last point you raised. The NEP has come at a very, I think, watershed moment in the history of the world. Look at the state of the world today. We are living in a world which we have never expected the world to ever be like this. We don't have, I think, experience in dealing in a world like this. Neither did we ever have any education to learn how to live in a world like this. You called it the VUCA world. There is another term also called the tuna world, which is similar. And for 5-6 months now, we are, we have been stuck more or less in our locations or in our homes. We are running our institutions. We are running countries from our homes. And I think the NEP has come therefore at a time which anyways the environment in the world is asking us to recalibrate our thinking. And if given our Prime Minister's vision of making India a $5 trillion economy, I think the NEP was a foregone conclusion, because if you see some of the natural disadvantages we had with respect to even investment in education compared to some of the other economies of the world, gross enrollment ratio compared to some other economies of the world, I think it is, we needed it sooner than later. And I am very optimistic about it. In fact, again, I would say because of Gurudev's vision, there are a few aspects of the NEP which we are already doing in terms of multidisciplinary education, holistic education, focus on mental health. The NEP talks about the joy, the happiness of a student. And I am so happy. Sorry?
Fun with learning. It's not
Yes.
just, learning with fun. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it should be a matter of joy. And today, what I find, and that is a pedal I push myself a lot in all the committees and the think tanks that I sit or some that I chair, that let us not just focus on the input. We have to be focused on the output. Are we producing happy, human beings? And I think that is what the NEP is also pushing its pedal on. It is going to see a lot of foreign universities now, hopefully, will come to India. That will put a pressure on all of us in India to also, push our own level of excellence.
Yeah.
So it is good. It is a free world, and we should all have to work with. I mean, it is a flat world today. And I think the NEP is making India go abroad and the world come to India in a more fluid way. So looking forward to it. And I think women have a great role to play. A recent McKinsey report says that if all women who could be employed would indeed be employed in the Indian context, it would add $700 billion worth of economic output. I can see Ashish ji is nodding to this. So, about $1 trillion out of that $5 trillion is literally lying in the laps of women. So I think platforms like this, and I want to congratulate Harish ji, Amit ji for hosting this. I would request Amit ji that you should host such platforms where you invite young girl students, undergrad girl students, post-grad girl students, and create platforms for them to interact with each other from different, diverse subjects, different parts of India. We will be blown away with the kind of thinking they have, the aspirations they have, and the grit they have to want to pursue this. And I think we can.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you so very much for sharing with us, especially the three girls who did it. And their stories stand as great inspirations. And thank you for sharing with us the tremendous work which Sri Sri University is doing towards empowering women and through education, and empowering through education even the children at the last mile. Work which you've been doing.
Just thank you, Rajita ji. Thank you, Rajita ji. Let us also welcome Shri Priyank Kanungo ji now. He has joined. He is the chairperson of NCPCR, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. In fact, Rajita ji's request for inviting girls with lot of enthusiasm and new innovative stories, and no better people than Priyank ji, Ashish ji, the president of ICSI. I mean, 30,000 company secretary girls under his institution, running the country's companies. And then Priyank ji has the entire girl child under his ministry, under his department. So they will give us few insights into the wonderful achievements with a few of their students, few of their girl children who are associated with their forums.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you,
on to you, Vinny.
Vijita ji. And with that, I would now like to move to the President ICSI, once again welcoming Ashish ji. And as Amit ji has already said, that you're doing a lot of work towards creating a more conducive and enabling environment for women, for the women workforce. So, would like to hear your views, especially under your leadership, what all you've been doing, especially towards creating a more safe environment also for the women. And how do you think about women as leaders in today's world?
Thank you so much, Mimiji. It's really my proud privilege to be amongst all of us. Thanks, Amitji, for inviting me. I was hearing all the speakers earlier. It was really a wonderful deliberations. I would like to start with a quote. I'll come to the what ICSI is doing as far as education of women is concerned, or our company secretaries, what Amitji was talking about. But before that, I would like to quote that educate a woman and you educate a family. Educate a girl and you educate the future. And this is the true in real sense. Today also that Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, was amongst the first one to post his message on social media on International Literacy Day. If you'll read it, I'll just read it for the benefits of all, that literacy plays an important role in empowering and transforming the lives of individuals and society. On International Literacy Day, let's resolve to create a self-reliant, self-confident, and competent Bharat that is literate, educated, and empowered. So I think education and empowerment are gifts that no one should be denied. Opportunity should be generated, particularly for our females. It can be begin in a small way. The ICSI has started some of the schemes, especially I'll talk about the fees waiver scheme, which we have come out for the Northeast region, and particularly in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. When the Ladakh has been formed and the state has been divided in a union territories, the ICSI was the first one to reach it to the Ladakh and started the study centers and given 100% fees waiver to the students of Ladakh. Same thing we have done it for the Himachal Pradesh. We have identified certain areas where the participation of our students are less, specifically female members. Even to bring out all the students in the man arena, we have come out the scheme for the Northeast. And today we have 65,000 company secretaries and around 3 lakh students. Out of 65,000 company secretaries, around 45% are female. And as rightly pointed out by Amitji, that the corporates and the company secretary in practice who are providing the consultancies to the big corporates are our dynamic woman entrepreneur as a practicing company secretary and as an employee company secretary. I think there has been quote which I want to say कि हम लोग पहले बोलते थे कि वुमन को empowerment करना है. मैं कहना चाहूँगा women are already empowered. If you will see the which are the three main things. One is finance. Finance ministry किसके पास है? आप बोलेंगे कि निर्मला सीतारमन जी के पास है, पर मैं बोलूंगा फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री बरसों से लक्ष्मी देवी जी के पास ही है. तो लक्ष्मी माता ही फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री की करता धरता है. एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री सरस्वती माता के पास है और शक्ति डिफेंस दुर्गा माता के पास. So these all the three basic parameters of any industry, any country, any place, all are controlled by the women empowered. So women are already empowered. जस्ट हमें उन्हें एक रास्ता दिखाना है कि हम उन्हें कैसे मेन स्ट्रीम में और ज्यादा ला सकते हैं. The second initiative which I would like to talk about the ICSI is one of the initiative of Shaheed Ki Beti certificate. On 4th of October of 2017, we have started one scheme, rather giving the mementos and flowers and bouquets to our guest of honors and chief guest. We have started this scheme, and first certificate we have given to Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And by this scheme, we are generating the funds, we are creating the funds by not spending the money by giving these mementos and the bouquets, and over the period of around 2 years, we have donated almost 30 lakh rupees to the Martyrs Daughters Fund. So the Martyrs Daughters Education Trust of the Defense Ministry, we are donating this amount. So we are saving this amount by not spending on unnecessary things. So this is one of the major initiatives. And the third initiative which I'd like to talk, then I'll listen the other speakers about this. Some of the certificate course, especially for the female members, like women directorship. It's a hot area where our woman director, our company secretaries as a leadership can play an important role in the board of directors. So it is mandatory by the provisions of the Companies Act or the SEBI that it is mandatory to have a representation of female in the board of directors also. So we have run one course of how we can develop our female members to become the woman director. And another one is POSH. Because now it is mandatory to have the committees on POSH. So our members, our female members specifically, can play an important role on this POSH committees. So there are so many initiatives we are regularly coming out. Even for the brighter child or the girl child, we have a scheme where our education trust is paying the 100% fees of the students. If they are brighter, if they belongs to a backward class, it is applicable to both the male and female as well. But as we are saying that यदि पढ़ेगा इंडिया तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया, बेटी पढ़ाओ. So यदि आज हमारी बेटियां पढ़ने में अच्छी हैं, जो सबको मालूम है आज, ये it's a proven fact. You can see the result of any higher secondary, high school, company secretary, chartered accountancy, any of the field. The percentage of female members are getting higher percentage, as well as the passing ratio is more. So only because of the financial constraint, they need not to sit at home. They can come into the main field, they can join the company secretaryship course, and the whole fees will be paid by the ICSI. So with this remark, I'm always available, and thank you so much, Amitji. Once again, he is taking so much of initiatives in the different fields of CSR, women empowerment, women achievers award. So my compliments to the entire team. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so very
Just a
much.
question, Ashish ji. Ashish ji, what is the qualification criteria to join the women directors course, certificate course? Can you throw some light, because we even don't have an idea about it, please.
See, I'll tell you this, the woman directorship is a certificate course. It is only for our company secretary members only. So those who are already a company secretary, they can do this certificate course and they can go to the industry. But otherwise also, we have done one independent director training program along with the IICA, which is the running body under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So all the members, anyone can attend that. Even if anyone is a woman director on the independent director on the board, they can attend. So it is not a guarantee that you will become a director in the company, but it is a refresher course or the certificate course where you will gain the knowledge how to represent in the board of directors of the company, what are the liabilities, what are the authorities, and how you can represent it better.
Ashish ji, can we not look at just a small question, because you are there and it's not a easy thing to get you on board, people like you or Atul Gupta on board. Now what I am asking is, not everyone can qualify as a company secretary. It's a tough program and not everybody has the resources. So is there any course you have for these students who are class 12 pass outs, who can take a certificate course on financial literacy, something like that, which can help them secretarial compliances, which can help them professionally?
I think, Amit ji, as you are aware that CA and CS are a specific course designed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, passed under the statute and as a act of parliament. So we are authorized to do this company secretaryship course or chartered accountant course or the cost accountant course. But yes, in this way we have thought it, the students who have cleared their 12th, they can come into the CS course. Now the resource is not a problem. Even for the entire fees is waived if you are a meritorious student. If you are not even a meritorious student, the complete fee structure is hardly 60 to 65,000 while completing the complete course of company secretaryship. And even the scholarships are available on different means basis. But yes, our students who are executive pass, they are not able to clear their final program, so they can become a CS executive and they can work as a secretarial assistant in the different companies. That schemes we have already started. So the company secretaries who have joined, those who are not able to complete the course, they can work as an executive assistant in the companies as a secretarial assistant.
Okay. Okay. Ashish ji, we request you to stay back for 10 more minutes and not leave because we have our what do you call the real powering partner, Northern Coalfields' view, and also your potential CS candidates from NCPCR also will be talking just now. Please don't leave the
Sure.
forum immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. once
Thank you
again.
so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir. And now I would like to request and invite Mr. Biplendu Kumar, the Director Personnel, Northern Coalfields. We thank them also for the support which they have extended to us towards organizing today's summit. And sir, again, from you, especially on this day, as we are celebrating the women's achievers today through the summit, wanted to know your views towards women empowerment initiatives which Northern Coalfields have been taking.
Namaskar. First of all, I should like to thank Mr. Amit Goenka who had dragged me to this program. Actually, he was busy yesterday, today also. Constantly, he contacted me. Somehow, in late evening,
We can't hear Mr. Jha, Mr. Bimlendu Kumar ji. We can't hear.
No, his voice is clear. I can get his voice. I'm getting his voice. I'm getting his voice. Yeah, sir, please continue.
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Yeah. As you know, I am working in Northern Coalfield Limited, a coal producing company, and a subsidiary of Coal India Limited, the highest coal producing company of the world. Coal is a major source of energy, and 70%, more than 70% power is given by through coal-fired units, and more than 52% energy by coal. And we are producing nearly 85% of coal of India. You must be knowing, up to few years back, even I was not allowed to work underground as per my tax. Thanks to this government, it amended the act, parliament, and now women are also allowed to work underground. If we work against nature, you must be knowing. Where coal is found, nobody can tell, it is God gifted. Mostly it is in jungle झाड़ी. जहाँ कोई नहीं रहता है वही हम लोग जाते हैं पहले कोयला को पता करने के लिए जंगल में पहाड़ों पर, उसके बाद फिर कोयला को प्रोड्यूस करने भी जाते हैं वही जगह जहाँ कोई नहीं रहता है, उस जगह को नए ढंग से बताते हैं हम लोग हैं. व्हाट हैपेंस कि दिस प्रोसेस हम लोग उन लोगों का लाइवलीहुड भी ले लेते हैं. Then, as I told you, we work against nature. So earlier, women were not allowed to work underground. Even in open cast mines, very few women were working. But now time has changed. Women are even working as a shovel operator, dumper operator. Earlier, operator by women. Then not only that, fitter, electricians, leave aside officers. Officers are also there. What do we do for the women here? If I will ask you. For women empowerment, first last few years, what we have started. First one, like to encourage them to identify the female employee of the month and displaying a standee in all offices, all units. I being a son of a working woman, my mother joined, started working before my birth. Now she is more than 90 and she was heading an institution. I have seen her fighting with us by our work and his job. That is work-life balance. तो होता है ना हमारे नखरे सहना प्लस ऑफिस के नखरे सहना वो दोनों करती थी तो हम लोगों ने देखा है उसे झेला है. So we have organized here many workshops for work-life balance and how they will manage both front, how they will manage. Then normally women think that they are weak. So we have organized also for a brainstorming session, and we gave them SWOT analysis. How, what is your strength? What is your weakness? They came out and they found that they have more strength than weakness. Our workplace has got earlier, it was a problem of toilets, cleanliness. Wherever I visit, so my first question is that here toilet is airport like or स्टेशन की तरह है, तो आज से 10 साल पहले स्टेशन हुआ करता था. Normally, what we have managed, I shall not claim that our toilets are like airport, but it is now in between that. Our endeavor is to make them better than even few airports. And we have organized many physical wellness programs also here, like Zumba, aerobics, yoga, meditation for women. As on that, we have got employee more than 14,000 our own employee and same number as contractual labor. Though women workers are less, 600, but their families are also there. For them also we have to work. Their daughters were there, their sisters were there. The all programs are meant for all, not only for our employee or them also. And we are organizing for a stress management program, mental wellness program for them. Our hospital is there, Nehru Hospital is there. Yeah. And we are health camps, programs for girl child employee, and so many programs we are doing. Female lifestyle disease we are organizing. And then one more, Chai Par Charcha. Chai Par Charcha for their birthday. We celebrate their birthday every month above employee. There are few work we are doing. As far as CSR is concerned, for education, we have got 10 schools. We are financing 10 schools here. More than 5,000 students are there. And spending more than 35 crores per year. Many works for CSR. Also, the CSR also we are working. Many work we are doing for women empowerment. Nutrition camp. Nearby village, you will find बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे हैं जो लगता है कि खाने के बिना बहुत दुबले पतले हो गए हैं. We are जो gap है उनके gap, fulfill the gap. What they can provide, what should be there. Then more than 100 schools we have provided sanitary vending machine. Because ये कोलफील्ड है, कोलफील्ड में आप पाएंगे कि बहुत ही अंडर डेवलप्ड एरिया है. बच्चे जानते नहीं कि what to do. So every school we have given sanitary vending machine with 3 years, 3 साल से चलाने के मेंटेनेंस खर्च के साथ we have given. Medical camps we regularly organized for women especially. Then awareness camp, sanitation, उनके health के लिए. Then family welfare program we always do. Skill development program एक बहुत ही अच्छा उन्होंने प्रोग्राम यहाँ किया है पोल्ट्री फार्म का ट्राइबल महिलाओं के लिए. More than 500 महिलाएं अभी भी उसमें है और they are earning, madam, we will surprise to know minimum 15,000 per month. जहाँ लोग खाने की दिक्कत थी वो 14-15 हजार रुपया पर मंथ कमा रहे हैं. 500 ट्राइबल 500 more we are going to add this year. Stitching, tailoring, distribution of machines, sewing का, pico का, we are doing that. Skill development, beauty parlor, hairdressing, computer training, poultry farm, what I told you. Then soft toys बनाने का, bag making, and this area, this has got so many NTPC plants. So fly ash की यहाँ कमी नहीं है. From fly ash, brick making के हम लोग मशीन सप्लाई किया है women को. Women are making a brick from fly ash. There are so many work. Only for women. If you take only for women-related work, last year we have invested 14 crore rupees in CSR. Every year we are spending more than 100 crores in CSR. Last year especially 14-15 crore only for women. मुझे ऐसा कि कुछ वक्ताओं ने कहा कि CSR के लिए सॉरी कोविड-19 के बारे में, this area is also very much affected. In spite of that, we are producing coal as per our target. But even then, infection is very less. Because right from day one, we are taking all precautions. All machines to sanitize before and after shift working. Every family has been given the sanitizing machine, mask. If you go by this area, you will find every person with mask with embossed NCL, almost yellow color or white color embossed NCL. To be precise, more than 5 crores we have invested in only COVID-19 in this area itself. Apart from that, 20 crores we have given to MP government, and 5 crores just now we are going to give UP government for 50 ambulances. Our ambulances are in every mines, and they are catering the demand of not our employee but local persons also. These are the few things which I want to do. There are many things what we do for this area, especially women's. And father of 2 daughters only, I know what is the importance of daughters.
नहीं, but thank you sir, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप लोग नॉर्दर्न कोल फील्ड्स विमेन एम्पावरमेंट की तरफ कर रहे हैं, आपके CSR एक्टिविटीज है, और इस पैंडेमिक इस डिफिकल्ट टाइम में जो आपने किया उसके बारे में हमें बताने का। एंड जैसा कि आशीष जी ने कहा था कि विमेन आर ऑलरेडी एम्पावर्ड, पर थोड़ा सा हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए। तो आप जैसे लोग और नॉर्दर्न कोल फील्ड्स, ICSI ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस लाइक दिस, और सरकार, progressive governments which actually think about women, and today women are not only flying fighter aircrafts but they are also in the coal field. तो धरती में और आसमान पर दोनों जगह हैं आज। so thanks.
Yes, you are right. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So with that, I would now like to invite our next guest, Mr. Priyank Kanungo, the chairperson of NCPCR, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Sir, again, during this pandemic, there have been many challenges which everyone has faced. So especially about the children, how has NCPCR has been reaching out to these children in these difficult times?
Actually, there are many perceptions, पर सही बात तो ये है कि ड्यूरिंग पैंडेमिक हमको कई चीज़ों से लड़ने के नए रास्ते भी मिले हैं, और कई प्रॉब्लम्स जो बच्चों को लेकर थी उनको नए तरीके से देखने का नजरिया भी डेवलप हुआ। खासतौर पे कमीशन का जहां तक इंटरवेंशन का मामला है, इस पूरे के पूरे लॉकडाउन के दौरान जो हमारा ऑब्जर्वेशन है वो ये है कि बच्चों के साथ जिस तरीके के अपराध होते हैं, खासतौर पे वो स्ट्रीट चिल्ड्रन हो या वो चाइल्ड लेबर हो या चाइल्ड मैरिज के मामले हो या चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल एब्यूज के मामले हो, ये परसेप्शन सभी जगह बिल्डअप किया गया कि इन अपराधों में बढ़ोतरी हुई है, लेकिन हमने ऐसा ऑब्जर्व नहीं किया और ये हकीकत है। देखिए, हमारे पास जितनी भी मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स आई, हमने उन सबको एनालाइज किया और हमने ये पाया कि लॉकडाउन के शुरुआती दौर में जब ये माना जा रहा था कि कुछ लोग लॉकडाउन के विरोध में काम कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने लगातार ये परसेप्शन बिल्डअप करने की और ये नैरेटिव सेट करने की कोशिश की है कि लॉकडाउन बच्चों के लिए खतरनाक है। मैं आपको एक वाक्य बताता हूँ केवल छोटा सा, उससे आपको ये स्थितियां स्पष्ट होंगी कि कमीशन के काम करने की दिशा भी इन दौरान इस प्रकार की रही। लॉकडाउन के शुरुआती 2 हफ्तों में एक मीडिया रिपोर्ट पब्लिश हुई, वो न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में एक आर्टिकल था और उस आर्टिकल का जो शीर्षक था, जो उसका टाइटल था, वो ये था कि बच्चे अपने एब्यूजर के साथ घर के अंदर कैद है। तो भारत में ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक तरीके से फिट नहीं बैठती। लेकिन उसी लाइन पर एक रिपोर्ट फिर पीटीआई ने भी पब्लिश की, और एक रिपोर्ट जो है वो 2-3 और अखबारों में भी पब्लिश हुई, जिसमें ये कहा गया कि भारत में शुरुआती लॉकडाउन के 11 दिनों में चाइल्ड लाइन, जो सरकार का हेल्पलाइन नंबर है जो डिस्ट्रेस में बच्चों की मदद करता है, उसके पास चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज के 92,000 कॉल्स आए। कमीशन ने इसको जब एग्जामिन किया तो वी फाउंड कि इट वाज फॉल्स। इनफैक्ट उन 11 दिनों में यूजुअली जो चाइल्ड लाइन के पास कंप्लेंट्स आई थी उनमें केवल 178 मामले इस तरीके थे जो बच्चों के साथ अब्यूज के थे, उनमें से कुछ चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज की भी। फर्दर ये सभी संबंधित मीडिया हाउसेस को हमने बताया कि देखिए ये ऐसा नहीं है कि भारत में हर बच्चा घर में रेपिस्ट के साथ नहीं, ये हमको अपना परसेप्शन चेंज करने की जरूरत है। और इस तरीके नैरेटिव से बचने की जरूरत इसलिए है क्योंकि हमको जो भी पॉलिसीज बनानी है, जो भी इंटरवेंशंस करने हो, ग्राउंड रियलिटीज के आधार पर। और अगर कोई भी नैरेटिव ग्राउंड रियलिटीज से अथॉरिटीज को दूर ले जाएगा तो काम करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। इसी प्रकार का एक और जो वाक्य सामने आया, ऐसे ही किसी वेबिनार में जब मैं कमीशन की वर्किंग के बारे में बता रहा था तो मैंने खुद ही ये बात कोट की थी कि पिछले एक साल में मतलब ये डेटा था अप टू 31 मार्च 2020, कमीशन के पास अप टू 31 मार्च 2019 जो ईयरली कंप्लेंट हुआ करती थी वो 4-5 हजार हुआ करती थी। लेकिन 19-20 के साल में हमने डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जाकर अपनी बेंचेस एक्सटेंड की, और उसके चलते हमारे पास कई सारे इश्यूज जो बच्चों की प्रॉब्लम थी आई, और इस कारण हमने लगभग 38-39 हजार कंप्लेंट्स पर साल भर के दौरान काम किया। इट मीन्स कि कमीशन ने अपनी क्षमताओं को 8 गुना बढ़ाया। तो किसी अखबार ने किसी वेबसाइट ने इस खबर को छापा इस तरीके से कि ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन कमीशन ऑब्जर्व्ड इंक्रीज ऑफ कंप्लेंट्स 8 टाइम्स। तो ये तो बिल्कुल गलत था कि भाई मैं साल भर का डेटा बता रहा हूँ, उसको उन्होंने लॉकडाउन का डेटा बताकर इस तरीके से पब्लिश किया, और फिर हमने उसको बकायदा पीआईबी फैक्ट चेक को भेजा और वो फेक न्यूज डिक्लेयर हुई। तो ऐसे कई सारे फेक नैरेटिव्स से हमको बचने की जरूरत होती है, खास तौर पे तब जब हम बहुत सेंसिटिव इश्यूज पे काम करते हैं। हाँ, ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक है कि कमीशन ने 28 मार्च को सबसे पहले इंटरवेंशन किया उन मामलों में जहां बच्चों को सड़कों पर लेके जाया जा रहा था। हमने सबसे रिक्वेस्ट की, कमीशन ने लगातार लोगों को शेल्टर्स दिलवाने का काम किया। हम लोगों ने बच्चों को दूध, खाना और शेल्टर, इनफैक्ट हमने जितने भी चिल्ड्रन होम्स थे जहां ग्रांट नहीं पहुंची थी, हमें मदरसों से ऐसी कंप्लेंट आई जहां पे बच्चे स्टक थे, वापस नहीं पहुंच पाए थे। हमारे पास एक कंप्लेंट विशाखापट्टनम से इस तरीके की आई कि बच्चे कोचिंग के हॉस्टल से निकले बिहार अपने घर जाने के लिए, लेकिन फिर एक होटल में रुक के रह गए, वो नहीं पहुंच पाए। तो इस तरीके की कई सारे इश्यूज में हमने इंटरवेंशन किया और बच्चों को फौरी और तत्काल मदद पहुंचाने का काम किया, चाहे वो उनके वापस लाने की व्यवस्था हो, चाहे उनके भोजन की व्यवस्था हो, चाहे उनकी सुरक्षा की चिंता हो। ये सभी काम जो है वो कमीशन ने किया। और इस सब के बीच में जो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के मामले कई देखने को आए और उसमें हमारे पास कंप्लेंट्स भी कई सारी आई, इसमें भी उसी दौरान एक रिपोर्ट भी इस तरीके की सामने आई जिस पर सरकार ने भी संज्ञान लिया कि ऑनलाइन चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल एब्यूज का सर्च बढ़ा है। हमने इस पर कॉग्निजेंस लिया और हमने सभी जो सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स थे उनमें एक इंक्वायरी सेटअप की। और आपको ये जानकर हैरत होगी कि भारत में एक भी सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म जो हमने इंक्वायर किए, हमने इंक्वायर किया फेसबुक को, हमने इंक्वायर किया इंस्टाग्राम को, हमने इंक्वायर किया व्हाट्सएप को हमने इंक्वायर किया, ट्विटर को, ये सभी जो हैं इन पर बच्चे सेफ नहीं। ये बिल्कुल फैक्ट है, पूरी जिम्मेदारी से कह सकता हूं कि मौजूदा परिस्थितियों में बच्चे यहाँ पे वल्नरेबल हैं। हमको इनमें से कई पर चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल एब्यूज मटेरियल मिला जो बिल्कुल गलत है। फिर दूसरी जो चीज हमको सबसे ज्यादा परेशान करने वाली देखने को मिली वो ये मिली कि बच्चे बहुत रैम्पेंटली और फ्रीली इन सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स को यूज करते हैं और इस पर हैं, लेकिन क्या हम बच्चों को एक सेफ और सिक्योर एनवायरनमेंट इस डिजिटल स्पेस में दे पाए हैं, ये सबसे बड़ा सवाल है। और ये कंपनीज जो सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर बच्चों को एक्सेस दे रही हैं वो इसमें बहुत ही गहरे ढंग से जिम्मेदार हैं। हमने ये पाया कि भारत के बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट जो कानून है, मसलन पॉक्सो एक्ट जो बच्चों को सेक्सुअल एब्यूज से बचाने के लिए बना है, उसका ही वायलेशन ये कंपनीज लगातार करती आ रही थी। फिर कुछ प्रिवेंटिव स्ट्रेटजीज उनको बताई हैं, कुछ करेक्टिव स्ट्रेटजीज बताई हैं और हम फिर लगातार इनके साथ काम कर रहे हैं, इनको समन्स भेज रहे हैं, इनको नोटिस कर रहे हैं, इनके साथ मीटिंग्स कर रहे हैं और कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम किसी प्रकार बच्चों के लिए एक सेफ डिजिटल स्पेस यहाँ पे क्रिएट करने की तरफ बढ़ सके, जो कि फिलहाल तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। ट्रैफिकिंग और चाइल्ड लेबर, ये दो चीजें ऐसी हैं जो पैंडेमिक्स के बाद या नेचुरल क्लेमिटीज के बाद बढ़ती हैं। ऐसा दुनिया भर में ट्रेंड रहा है, क्योंकि जब गरीबी के कारण ये तकलीफ बढ़ती है तब ये माना जाता है और ये ट्रेंड रहा है कि ट्रैफिकिंग, चाइल्ड लेबर ये बढ़ेगा। हमने इसके लिए सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ बैठ के ये तय करने की कोशिश की कि कैसे हम प्रिवेंशन कर पाए। हमारे यहाँ कानून है गिरफ्तारी के लिए, एक्यूजिशन के लिए, प्रोसिक्यूशन के लिए, सब चीजें, लेकिन प्रिवेंशन के लिए अभी तक कमीशन की भी जो स्ट्रेटजी थी या जो अथॉरिटीज बच्चों के बीच काम करती हैं वो चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक स्ट्रेटजीज पे हम लोग काम करते हैं। इनफैक्ट पिछले कई सालों से यूएनसीआरसी पे साइन करने के पहले से भी हम लोग चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक स्ट्रेटजीज पर काम करते आए थे, जिसका परिणाम हमको बहुत अच्छा नहीं मिला। अगर परिणाम अच्छे होते तो बच्चे सड़कों पे नहीं होते, अगर परिणाम अच्छे होते तो बच्चों की ट्रैफिकिंग में कमी आई होती, लेकिन परिणाम हमको नहीं लगता कि बहुत अच्छे थे, क्योंकि हमारी अप्रोच में हम केवल बच्चे पर ध्यान दे रहे हैं। और जब हम इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात करते हैं तो बहुत सी चीजें हमको देखनी पड़ेंगी कि बच्चे को जैसे सबसे पहले सुरक्षा देने की जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? क्या वो सरकार की हो सकती है या वो परिवार की हो सकती है?
परिवार की।
तो लेकिन हमारे यहाँ परिवार पे ध्यान नहीं दिया गया था। और बड़ी छोटी सी बात है कि हम ये सब मानते हैं कि बच्चा ट्रैफिक जब होता है तो हर बच्चा किडनैप होकर ट्रैफिक नहीं होता। बच्चे की ट्रैफिकर्स का जो खासतौर पर जो चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए, जो डोमेस्टिक हेल्प के लिए, जो फैक्ट्रीज में काम करने के लिए बच्चे को ट्रैफिकर्स लाते हैं, बंगाल से लाते हैं या झारखंड से लाते हैं, तो यहाँ पे जो उनका मॉडस ऑपरेंडाई है, हमने उसको स्टडी किया तो पता चला कि मोस्टली वो उसी गांव के लोग होते हैं, उनके नॉन लोग होते हैं और ऐसे बच्चों को जहाँ पे परिवार की आर्थिक स्थितियां विषम होती हैं वहां से बच्चों को लाने का काम करते हैं। और मोस्टली उनका जो बच्चों को लाने का तरीका होता है, ट्रैफिक करने का तरीका होता है, वो एक बेटर लाइफ का सपना दिखाते हैं, एजुकेशन का, खाने अच्छे मिलने का, एक अच्छा एटमॉस्फेयर देने का और घर की आर्थिक मदद होगी, इस तरीके का पूरा एक सिनेरियो डेवलप करके फिर बच्चों को लाया जाता है। ये फैक्ट है, चाहे आप सदर्न राजस्थान देखेंगे, चाहे आप मध्य प्रदेश के मामले देखें, पूरे देश में ये एक कॉमन फैक्टर है। इसलिए ILO से लेकर के UNODC तक या भारत सरकार तक सभी ये मानते हैं कि गरीबी ट्रैफिकिंग का एक बड़ा कारण है और गरीब बच्चा नहीं होता। ये हमको समझने की जरूरत है कि बच्चे का तो जन्म होता है ना। अब ये हर बच्चा जब जन्म लेता है तो अपना मुस्तकबिल साथ लेके आता है। कोई बच्चा गरीब परिवार में जन्म लेता है, इसके कारण क्या बच्चे को पूरी जिंदगी भर त्रास झेलना पड़ेगा? ये हमको सोचने की बात है। और वहां पे हमको स्ट्रेंथन करने की जरूरत है परिवार का सिक्योरिटी मैकेनिज्म। इसलिए कमीशन ने सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ बैठ के वल्नरेबिलिटी के कुछ इंडिकेटर्स निकाले कि बच्चा किन किन परिस्थितियों में वल्नरेबल होता है। इसके लिए हमने कई केसेस को स्टडी किया, कई स्टेट्स के ट्रेंड्स को स्टडी किया, तो ये समझ में आया कि एक 7-8 बहुत ही नॉर्मल से इंडिकेटर्स हैं, जैसे घर में रोजगार का साधन ना होना, माता पिता का अशक्त होना, शराब नोशी की या नशे की प्रॉब्लम होना घर में, बच्चे का आउट ऑफ स्कूल होना, बच्चे का चाइल्ड मैरिज सर्वाइवल होना, बच्चे का पहले से ट्रैफिकिंग सर्वाइवल होना, डिसेबल्ड बच्चे होना, ये कई तरीके के एक नॉर्मल इंडिकेटर्स हैं जिससे ये पता चलता है कि ये वल्नरेबल बच्चे हो सकते हैं जिनको कि ट्रैफिकर्स एक अच्छी जिंदगी के झांसे में लेके जा सकते हैं। तो हमने ये इंडिकेटर्स तय किए। फिर हमने देश के जो मौजूदा कानूनी व्यवस्था या जो पॉलिसीज है उन सबको एक बार स्टडी, तो थोड़ी सी लंबी बात है लेकिन 3-4 मिनट में खत्म करूंगा। उनको जब हमने स्टडी किया तो ये पता चला कि ये तो सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स की सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। जब प्रिवेंशन की बात है तो सबसे पहला रोल जो है वो परिवार का और समाज का है। अब समाज से जुड़ी हुई जो अथॉरिटीज है वो लोकल अथॉरिटीज है। गांव में ग्राम पंचायत, स्कूल मैनेजमेंट कमेटी, आंगनवाड़ी, विलेज चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन कमेटी, विलेज एजुकेशन कमेटी, पंचायत वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट कमेटी, मनरेगा कमेटी, ऐसे करके 13-14 मेजर स्टेक होल्डर्स एक गांव में होते हैं। फिर हमने एक मॉडस ऑपरेंडाई तय किया, उनकी जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पावर्स हैं, उनको जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एम्पावरमेंट उनको मिला हुआ है, उनको ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने ये तय किया कि हम ये रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे पंचायत से कि आप अपनी एक मीटिंग करिए, ये 13-14 स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ एक मीटिंग करिए, और किसी भी गांव में ये 7-8 जो इंडिकेटर्स हैं इन पे वल्नरेबल फैमिलीज को आइडेंटिफाई करना बड़ा आसान है। भाई एक गांव के अंदर तो पता चल ही सकता है ना कि कौन बच्चे के माता पिता के साथ क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। फिर इन प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स को सरकार की हमने 31 तरीके की सोशल वेलफेयर की स्कीम्स या उनको मिलने वाले फायदे वो आधार कार्ड से लेकर के प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना हो या आत्मनिर्भर भारत के तहत मिलने वाला फ्री राशन हो या बीपीएल कार्ड होल्डर्स को मिलने वाला राशन हो, राइट टू फूड वाला राशन हो या स्पॉन्सरशिप स्कीम्स के फायदे, अलग अलग ऐसी 31 स्कीम्स हमने आइडेंटिफाई की जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की थी। स्टेट स्पेसिफिक स्कीम इसमें कभी भी ऐड हो सकती। उनकी मैचिंग का हमने एक प्रोसीजर तैयार किया कि ये वल्नरेबिलिटीज हैं, इन वल्नरेबिलिटीज को मिटिगेट करने के लिए इन्हें इन स्कीम्स के साथ मैच किया जा सकता। तो बस ये इतना ही सिंपल है कि अगर आप बच्चा जब गरीबी के कारण ट्रैफिकिंग का सफरर हो सकता है तो बच्चे को जब ध्यान में रखेंगे आप फिर चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक हो जाइए, लेकिन यहाँ पे आप फैमिली को स्ट्रेंथन कर दीजिए, कोशिश करिए कि उसकी फैमिली को सक्षम बना पाए। और जब आप उसको गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स से बच्चे को ध्यान में रख के जोड़ देते हैं तब ये इंश्योर होता है कि पूरी फैमिली ट्रैक होगी, वो बच्चा ट्रैकिंग मैकेनिज्म में आ जाता है सरकार के, और उसके बाद इंटरवेंशन बनता है। जब संवाद होगा, संवाद से आप बहुत सी चीजों के हल निकाल सकते हैं, और खासतौर पर ट्रैफिकिंग के विषय में गांव में सामूहिक रूप से चर्चा होनी चाहिए। उसी मीटिंग में आप ऐसे लोगों को भी आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं, ये पुलिस के लिए था, जो प्रोस्पेक्टिव ट्रैफिकर्स हो सकते हैं, नए लोग गांव में कौन आए, ये गांव के स्तर पे जाके प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगी। शहरों में हमने केवल ये रिक्वेस्ट की है लोगों से कि रेसिडेंट वेलफेयर एसोसिएशंस को आपस में मीटिंग करना चाहिए और ये तय करना चाहिए कि कम से कम हमारी जो कॉलोनी है, हमारी जो बिल्डिंग है, हमारे एरिया में कोई भी बच्चे को डोमेस्टिक हेल्प के लिए घर में नहीं रखे। और ये परसेप्शन अपने दिमाग से हटाने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है कि हम 14 के ऊपर का बच्चा डोमेस्टिक हेल्प के लिए रखते हैं। देखिए 14 और 18 का भी बड़ा क्लियर एक्ट का मैंडेट है। यहाँ पे सभी लोगों को समझना जरूरी है कि 14 के बाद कुछ कामों में बच्चों को इन्वॉल्व करने की इजाजत है, लेकिन उसके लिए एक प्रॉपर प्रोसीजर है। वो प्रोसीजर ये कहता है कि 3-3 घंटे की 2 शिफ्ट से ज्यादा बच्चा काम नहीं करेगा, बच्चे का वेतन जो होगा वो बड़े के बराबर होगा, वो हैजार्डस काम नहीं करेगा। अब आप घर में बच्चे को डोमेस्टिक हेल्प के लिए लगाएंगे तो आपको सर्टेन पैरामीटर्स को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा, 3-3 घंटे से ज्यादा की शिफ्ट नहीं हो सकती, विच इज एक्चुअली कोई डोमेस्टिक हेल्प करने वाले बच्चे के साथ ये सब सुविधाएं उसको मुहैया करने का काम नहीं करता। और अपने दिमाग से हम सभी को एक चीज क्लियर कर लेना चाहिए, जो आम तौर पे लोग बोलते हैं जी हम तो बच्चे को पढ़ाते भी हैं, काम कराते हैं तो उसको पढ़ाते भी हैं, ये बकवास है, ये बिल्कुल बकवास बात है। और हम किसी भी तरीके से अपने पाप को छुपा नहीं सकते। प्लीज बच्चों से काम मत करवाइए। आप किसी बच्चे से काम करवा के पढ़ाकर उसका जीवन खत्म कर रहे हैं। बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए भारत में राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट बना हुआ है, कोई सरकारी स्कूल उनको एडमिशन देने से मना नहीं करेगा। जितने लोगों को समाज सेवा का शौक है वो कुछ ना करें, केवल बच्चे की इंफॉर्मेशन बगल के स्कूल तक पहुंचा दीजिए, स्कूल एडमिट करेगा। लेकिन इस बहाने से काम पर मत लगाइए, ये आपके पापों को कम नहीं करता। और कानून का पालन जो है वो जब सख्ती से होना शुरू होगा इन चीजों को लेकर, तो सब तकलीफ में आते हैं, और जहां इस तरीके के मामले आते हैं वो लोग तकलीफ में फिर जाते हैं। इसलिए यही छोटी मोटी बातें थी जो आप लोगों के बीच में कहनी थी। खासतौर पे यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्रीज से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं, तो 2 बातें आप लोगों के लिए जो कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज के साथ काम करते हैं उनके लिए, जो इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ,
क्योंकि ICSI से हैं हमारे साथ, नेशनल कोल फील्ड से हैं, तो किस तरह से कॉर्पोरेट्स आपके कमीशन के साथ मिलकर चाहे CSR के माध्यम से किस तरह से चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन, चाइल्ड राइट्स के ऊपर काम कर सकते हैं?
देखिए कमीशन तो किसी से फंड लेके कोई इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का काम इस तरीके से करता नहीं है। तो CSR अपना नेक नियत के साथ सब लोग खर्च करेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से बच्चों को फायदा होगा ही होगा। बात ये है कि बहुत जरूरी नहीं है कि आप चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक होने के लिए केवल इस तरीके से सोचे जैसा आपको लोग बताते हैं। हमको अपनी विजडम का इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए और कस्टमाइज्ड सॉल्यूशन की तरफ जाना चाहिए। कोई एक बहुत छोटी सी बात है, अगर ये विमलेंदु जी यहाँ पे हैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, एक प्रोविजन है जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट में स्पॉन्सरशिप का। जो विडो हैं, जो अबेंडेंट हैं, जिनके जो सिंगल पेरेंट चाइल्ड है, जिनके पिता की डेथ हो गई और वो कमाने में अक्षम है, वो बच्चे वल्नरेबल होते हैं, उनको मदद की जरूरत होती है। वो चिल्ड्रन होम में अगर पलते हैं, वो ऑर्फन एज में अगर जाते हैं, तो वो तो वैसे ही अपने राइट टू फैमिली के राइट से डिप्राइव्ड हो जाते हैं। वो घरों में पल सकें, इसके लिए स्पॉन्सरशिप का प्रावधान है, लेकिन सरकारों के पास उतना पैसा नहीं होता। आप अपने वर्किंग के एरियाज में अगर 100 बच्चों को, 50 बच्चों को भी DBT करिए, आप रकम तय करिए, किताबें मत दीजिए, सरकारी स्कूलों में किताबें दी जाती हैं, आप लाइब्रेरी इस्टेब्लिश करवा दीजिए। यूनिफॉर्म सरकार देती है, अगर आप मदद करना चाहते हैं तो वहां मॉनिटरिंग के लिए एक टीम लगा दीजिए कि वो मॉनिटर कर दे, बच्चों से जाके पूछ ले यूनिफॉर्म मिली कि नहीं मिली। यूनिफॉर्म बीच में कभी खराब हुई है, बच्चे फाड़ लेते हैं, तब उसको ठीक करवा दीजिए, दूसरा दे दीजिए। लेकिन जो एंटाइटलमेंट्स यूनिफॉर्म सरकार दे रही है, किताबें सरकार दे रही है, वो मत दीजिए प्लीज। आप उसमें एड ऑन करिए, आप लाइब्रेरी दे दीजिए। यूनिफॉर्म के अलावा दूसरे कपड़े आप बच्चों को देना चाहते हैं, सर्दी के स्वेटर हो सकता है सरकार लेट पहुंचाती हो, वहां मदद कर दीजिए। और जब आप मदद करना चाहते हैं तो सरकार के इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड मैकेनिज्म के अंदर कर दीजिए, जिससे डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ फंड ना हो और कहीं ना कहीं पैसा बर्बाद ना हो। तो ये छोटी छोटी, बहुत ही छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं जो आप लोग ध्यान में रख सकते हैं। और कोशिश करिए कि इस तरीके के बच्चे जो चिल्ड्रन होम्स में फंसे हुए हैं, जिनको मदद की जरूरत है, हमारे पास देश के 55 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के बच्चों का डेटा है। आपके झारखंड के बहुत बच्चे हैं उनमें, मुझे नहीं पता झारखंड में कौन सा कोल फील्ड लगता है, लेकिन झारखंड के बहुत बच्चे हैं। कई सारे बच्चे ऐसे हैं जिनको स्पॉन्सरशिप की दरकार है, पर सरकारों के पास, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास फंड्स की कमी होने के कारण नहीं मिल पा रही है। जो भी लोग CSR में उन बच्चों की मदद करना चाहते हैं, हम उनको डिटेल्स दे देंगे, आप सीधे बच्चों को DBT करिए, आप किसी को पीछे मत। ये बहुत छोटे छोटे इंटरवेंशन हैं जिससे आप लोगों को एम्पावर करने की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं। और हम लोग हमेशा ध्यान देते हैं भारत में, जब चाइल्ड लेबर की बात होती है तो सप्लाई चेन की सप्लाई चेन क्लीन होना चाहिए, कहीं प्रोसेसेस में बच्चों का इस्तेमाल नहीं होना चाहिए, वो ध्यान जरूर दीजिए। साथ साथ सर्विस चेन पर भी ध्यान दीजिए और डिस्पोजल चेन पर भी ध्यान दीजिए। आपको सुनने में जरूर अजीब लगेगा, लेकिन मैं आपसे पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ आज ये बात कह सकता हूँ यहाँ पे कि अगर महात्मा गांधी आज होते तो वो बजाज मोटरसाइकिल वालों से खुश नहीं होते, निश्चित नहीं होते। वो सेठ जी के घर में रहे अपने अंतिम समय तक, उनसे खुश थे, पर आज के सिनेरियो में खुश इसलिए नहीं होते। मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ। जो हमारा ऑब्जर्वेशन है वो ये है